The words displayed had nothing to do with football. One particular word that I should have never under any circumstance have uttered was displayed on the screen. In that moment, I did not even realize what I was reading, and as soon as I did, I was horrified. Oh man, we got an interesting one today. There's no way to sugarcoat this. I'm jumping straight into it. One of Oklahoma's assistant football coaches got fired for saying the N-word. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2022, and I think we all know this by now. That is a big no-no in today's society. You just simply can't do that, and there's no excuses for that. However, with that being said, this one, it's debatable. He didn't say this towards a player or anything like that. He was simply reading the words off of a screen, and he saw the word, and yeah, you can put two and two together, he said it. And just like it says right here, I'm going to read it off word for word. He stated, "I want to be very clear, the words I read aloud from the screen were not my words." But still, with that being said, it doesn't change the fact that he said it. This has caused a lot of controversy. Some people think he should have been fired, rightfully so, and others not so much. They feel differently. They're actually labeling this as he's quote-unquote resigned himself, but if you have any IQ whatsoever, you know that's not how it goes down. He didn't choose to resign randomly out of nowhere. The school, the head coach, whoever, they asked him to step down. They do this so it doesn't look as bad as the school firing him, and you know how it goes. They can lie and try to fool other people and say that he resigned, but in reality, he got fired. We're going to talk all about that and dive deep into detail on what really happened, and I have a very, and I mean a very strong opinion about it. We also got not one, not two, but three other minor topics to talk about and go over. Just like always, it's going to be a jam-packed video. If you like college football content, consider hitting that subscribe button. We'd love to have you here. All right, Matt, shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, I want to shed some light on this because I don't see many people talking about this, but Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman, he's out for an extended period of time for a non-football related medical condition. As to what this could be, I don't know, but anytime a player goes through something like this, it's got to be hard for them, so if you could pray for him, I know he would greatly appreciate that. Moving on to our next topic, I want to bring this up because we haven't talked about it, but the coaches poll for the top 25, it just got released. And I'm actually not going to lie to you guys, just going to be 100% honest. This is the first time I looked at it. The only thing I knew going into this video is that Alabama and Ohio State, they were 1 and 2. Nothing really catches my eye besides Notre Dame at 5. I think that may be slightly too high. I would probably flip-flop them and Texas A&M. I would also say that Miami at 17 is rather interesting because that team has been a crap show the recent years, and you also got Ole Miss in the top 25. Me personally, in my top 25 list, I would have Ole Miss, but many others wouldn't. And last but not least, and this leads me into my next point perfectly, you got Kentucky at 21. Now I know what you're sitting there saying, yo Matt, why did you bring that up? Well, check this out. Recently in an interview, Coach Calipari, who is the basketball coach for Kentucky, he said that quote unquote, this is a basketball school. And on Twitter, Kentucky's football coach Mark Stoops, he quote tweeted that and said, basketball school, I thought we competed in the SEC 4 straight postseason wins. Okay, I wouldn't say this beef or anything, but I see where Mark Stoops is coming from. Now come on man, let's just be real here. We all know that Kentucky, deep down, they're a basketball school. It is what it is. No matter how good Alabama is in basketball or Georgia is in basketball, when you hear Alabama and Georgia, you think of football. But what makes it look worse for John Calipari is, I don't know if you watched the NCAA tournament, but they got bounced out by a 15 seed. And for Kentucky in football, they've been doing good in the postseason, so you can see the irony in those statements. I did find that interesting. I don't think John Calipari, what he said, he's in the wrong, but I also believe it's something you just don't say. I will say this, I love Mark Stoops. I love what he's doing with Kentucky. He always does more with less, but vice versa with John Calipari, he always does less with more. John Calipari always gets a top 5 recruiting class, he always gets all these 5-star recruits, and guess what? He always disappoints. But guess what Kentucky football does? They always get all these 3-star recruits, and they're not expected to do good, and they always have 10-win seasons. I'm not a John Calipari hater, but look at the facts. If you're a Kentucky football fan, you're never disappointed, you actually overachieve. But the basketball team, they always underachieve. I did find that rather intriguing. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section as well. But finally, we can get on to the main encore, the main topic, the main reason you clicked onto the video, Oklahoma football. I'm going to try to dumb this down and summarize it the best way I can in the quickest way possible. This statement I'm about to read, it's from Elite College Football on Instagram. If you've been watching the videos, you've probably seen them all over. We get a lot of our news from them. So shout out to Elite College Football on Instagram. Go follow them, do all that nice stuff, but let's get into this quote. Not even a quote, my bad. It's just a summary of what went down. Longtime Oklahoma assistant Kel Gundy is resigning after an incident in the locker room, Gundy picked up an iPad of a distracted player during a meeting and read a lot of the words that had nothing to do with football. One of those words he read, he should have never quote-unquote uttered. And on Twitter, Kel Gundy posted this insanely long message. I'm not going to read it. It's way too long. But here's what I am going to do. I'm going to pick out the most important part, and I'm going to read it off to you. On Twitter, he posted, "Sooner Nation, thank you," in this huge message like I stated. Here's the important part, and I think it's all you need to know about it. He stated, "Last week during film session, I instructed my players to take notes. I noticed a player was distracted and picked up his iPad and read a lot of the words that were written on his screen. The words displayed had nothing to do with football. One particular word that I should have never, under any circumstance, have uttered was displayed on the screen. In that moment, I did not even realize what I was reading, and as soon as I did, I was horrified. I want to be very clear. The words I read aloud from the screen were not my words. What I said was not malicious. It wasn't even intentional. Still, I am mature enough to know that the word I said was shameful and hurtful, no matter my intentions." That's all you need to know. The rest is blah, 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 Joe Schmo. He's just apologizing. You don't gotta be a rocket scientist to figure out. Everybody knows this by now. He said the N-word. Here's where things start to heat up. Everybody feels a different type of way about this situation, just like always. You got some people saying this, and it's got over 250 likes. Only in 2022 would a coach have to pay the price for a player not paying attention during a film session. God, it's so dumb. You also got people saying this. Players can easily be like, "It's all good, coach, and it's not a massive issue." Seems a bit much, no? And you also get comments just like this, and it's got over 200 likes as well. What happened to the player that wrote this on the iPad? If you are somewhat lost in this, I'm going to try to dumb it down even more. Basically, a player in film session, he was supposed to be taking notes, right? But instead of taking notes, he wrote down a statement that had the N-word in it. Coach Gundy noticed he was goofing off, or whatever you want to label it. He yanked up the iPad and was like, "Okay, let's see what you were writing down instead of notes," and he read it aloud. And whenever he read it aloud, you can put two and two together, he said the word. He didn't say this in a derogatory way. He didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. He just read it out loud. It's 2022. I don't have to explain this. We all know if you're a white man, you can't say that. And as a white man myself, I am in no position to even try to say this isn't a big deal or anything like that, but here's what I will say. You can be mad at me all you want. I don't care. It's my opinion. We can agree to disagree. If it's a situation like this where you just read off the word or you're not saying it directly towards somebody, I personally, and this is just me personally, I don't think it's a major deal. I'm not saying it's okay. No, it's terrible. There's no any circumstance for a white man to say that word, but I don't think it's as worse as if he would have said it towards a player in practice. I don't think a guy who's been with Oklahoma for what has it been, like 15, 20 years, should lose his job for reading out a word that he didn't even know was on a screen. You got people on the fences. Some are saying, "Oh, well, it slipped out. He made a mistake. He should keep his job." And others are trying to say, "Well, as a grown man, he should be able to process it and not say the word. It's not that hard." All in all, though, here's where I stand on it. I don't care if it slipped out of his mouth, he read it off an iPad. I don't care the circumstance, any situation, you shouldn't say it. I don't want to hear all this bullcrap about, "Oh, well, if he got in trouble, why didn't the player get in trouble? What about him?" I don't want to hear all that. As a white man, it's 2022. You shouldn't say it under any circumstance. I don't care if it's a joke. I don't care if you're reading it off of a book. Don't care. You shouldn't say it. I don't know him personally. Do I think he's racist? More than likely, probably not. He's been around black football players for the past 20 years. I'm sure if he was racist, he would have already lost his job by now. But it doesn't matter, and it feels like I'm going in circles. You can't say the word. I'm going to read you off this comment, though, and this is from a black man, so let me clarify that. This comment got nearly 700 likes, and he stated, "If this is the truth, this man read a word off an iPad, then it's just plain and silly for him to lose his dang job. Apologize and move on." Now, if he said it towards someone or in a derogatory manner, then by all means excuse him from his duties. Y'all too much sometimes, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Couldn't have said it any better myself. I love that reply. I love that response, and much respect to you. Should a man who's been there for 20 years lose his job over reading something off of a iPad? Heck to the no. We could go on and on for the next 30 minutes debating this topic. I'm going to leave it at that. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. Maybe there was more to the story. Maybe more happened. I don't know. If you know anything about this, fill us in the comment section. But yeah, with all that being said, let's go wrap this video.